Lee Phillips here. Yeah, I'm a lawyer. Don't hold that against me. I want to talk about whether or not you want to put a car in your company, LLC, corporation, I don't care what it is. And lots of people say, oh, you want to buy your car in your company. They think it's cool. They think there's going to be all these tax advantages. Well, 179 doesn't give you that many tax advantages. You've got to have a 6,000 pound car, vehicle, and you've got to pay $50,000 for it, and then you can take $25,000 off over 5 years. Bottom line is the taxation of the car in your company, or your depreciation of the car in your company, is very complicated, and what you get in tax benefits isn't nearly what most people think you might get in tax benefits. There are other disadvantages to a car in a company. And my bottom line here before we get through is no, you don't want your car in a company. But look, if it's a company car, that's a commercial vehicle. You're going to pay 3 times as much in your insurance for a commercial vehicle as you do a private vehicle. Also, the taxes, the property taxes, are going to be 3 times what they are for an individual vehicle versus a company, commercial vehicle. So to run around with your little car in your company sounds cool. I'm driving a company car. But do you really want that? The other issue is insurance. If you drive your company car for personal reasons, you may well not be covered by your insurance. And I'm going to do the flip side of that in 2 seconds. So do you really want your company, LLC, corporation, partnership, whatever it is, to own a vehicle? The answer is probably no. There aren't that many tax benefits to it. Now, the company can write off the car, they can deduct all the expenses and all of that sort of stuff. They can get some depreciation out of it, write it off over 5 years anyway, if it's so big. We didn't get into the taxes. The other issue is if I have a private car and I use it for company purposes, what are the issues? Those are scary because you've got your private car, you've got your insurance on it. But the minute you use that car for company purposes, you are no longer insured. And the cop is always going to ask you, well, what about it? Where were you going? What were you doing when you had the accident? As soon as you say, I was going to the bank to deposit the daily checks, you're screwed because you've lost your personal insurance. So you have to be very careful what you say to the insurance adjuster, what you say to the cop, what you say to everybody else. But what I do is I take the mileage, and the government publishes the mileage rate that you can take every year that the IRS will allow. You've got to keep track of the trip and why you went there and how long it was. There are a couple of apps out now that are really cool. They track you by GPS and all the rest of this and figure out how far you went, and they're pretty cool. So you can take the mileage off. You can't take the expenses off and the mileage, and you can't change in the middle of the year. I can't take the expenses part of the time and mileage part of the time. That doesn't work. But most small business owners are going to use their car for some business, and you're going to submit mileage requests so that you can get that mileage off as an expense to the company. And yes, it's 58 cents a mile, or 55 or 54 or whatever it is this year. IRS publishes it each year. But it really does cost you that much to run your car. You might not think that, but it does cost you that much to run your car. So take the mileage, probably skip putting the car directly into the ownership of the LLC or the corporation. Now, if you really do have a company car and the employees of the company are driving the car, you'd better step up to it, have a company car, buy the company insurance for the car and everything else, because you have a company car. But little owners, real estate people, that sort of thing, you're going to have your personal car, you're going to take the mileage off, but be careful of the insurance. And what drives me nuts is as soon as that guy slaps the Pizza Hut or whatever it is sign on top of his car to deliver the pizza, he's screwed because he has no insurance. This is Lee Phillips talking about putting cars into companies, LLCs or corporations or whatever.